Everything there is but loving leaves a rust on your soul. And to love so enough, you've got to have a spot in your heart for everybody, great and small, white and black, and them what's good, and them what's evil. Because love ain't no crowded, out of place, where the good ones stay and the bad ones can't come in. When it gets that way, then it ain't love. That's a quote from Not Without Laughter by Langston Hughes. And this is the Inspired Poetry Corner. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, from whatever part of the world you are. Welcome to the Inspired Poetry Corner, a monthly recital on the third Sunday of every month, where we invite a featured artist to come and share their brilliance, as well as supporting poets that I affectionately call the Not Ready for Primetime Poets, that comes to support our feature. And this month, the month of July, we have the energetic, thought-provoking, non-apologetic Dee Allen in the house. Many of you have witnessed his brilliance. I'm looking forward to this, looking forward to featuring and highlighting this brother. And I'm glad that he's back with some piss and vinegar after being under the weather for the past couple of weeks. So anyway, welcome, guys. I hope you're doing well on this Sunday, wherever you are. I hope it's been a good day for however long you've been up and walking around. It's still morning here in Toronto, and so we're just getting going, and have liquid refreshments around. I hope you have the same. I hope you have your poetry ready, but more important, I hope you have your heart and your ears and your eyes open, because we're about to be dazzled by a man who brings the funk. To go back to old school days, he brings the funk. I said he was non-apologetic. He's non-apologetic. Dee is who he is, and he does not mix words about it, nor does he apologize for it. So before we get into this, just a little housekeeping. We'll be flying at an altitude of 35,000 feet. Bathrooms are to the rear and to the front of the cabin. Please, when Dee or anyone else is on the mic, keep your mics muted. I mean, you guys are all Zoom veterans, so you know how this works. Like I said, this is a free, open space. I welcome all speech. I do not tolerate people that want to spew hate. I treat this show like my house. You are welcome to come in. All are welcomed. But I do ask you to be respectful, and to be respectful of each other, to be respectful of our words. You may not agree with someone's view in their poetry, but can you appreciate the artistry that went into developing? To me, that's probably sometimes more important. So let's just have fun. We are the kids in the sandbox. We know how to play in the sandbox. So let's do that as adults. Loving, respectful humans. Doesn't matter what part of the globe you come from. Can we do that? And I think we do that fairly well. We've been doing it now for the past year and a half. So other than that, let's just sit back and enjoy the show. So it is July, and we get to honor Dee Allen. Now, who is Dee Allen? He's an African-Italian performance poet based out of Oakland, California, active in creative writing and spoken word since the 90s. He's the author of 7 books, excuse me, Boneyard, Unwritten Law, Stormwater, Skeletal Black. I'm not sure how you pronounce this, Dee.
Elohi Oo-nee-chee.
Thank you. Ell-oh-ee Oo-nee-chee, Convictions to Change Publishing, Rusty Gallows, Passages Against Hate, and Plans. He's also appeared in 69 anthology throughout his career, and I'm sure there's many more to come. And knowing this man, he seems to be a prolific writer. There's more books coming. We've seen him in the Zoom rooms. He's been featured before. I think we're all fans. This is why they're not ready for primetime poets list is longer today, because many people wanted to come, and I just didn't want to say no to many people. So we have a long packed list today because of this man. I'm going to shut up. I want to give you as much time, Dee, to do your thing. So ladies and gentlemen, I invite you to unmic, to snap it, to clap it, to howl it up, whatever you want to do, as we welcome to the mic our feature for July, Dee Allen.
Let's go, dude.
Let's go. East Bay in the building. Come on, Dee Allen.
I will. And what makes this particular feature different from many others is I'm not going to be doing anything from my books or nothing from any anthologies I've ever appeared in, or any literary magazines, blogs, newspapers, magazines, or underground zines. Instead, I'm going to give you all new material today. And it begins now. Red dust. Before laying down roots in the Western state everybody else in the United States considers paradise, California. Georgia was home, well known as a red state, where peanut crops, peach trees, pecan trees, kudzu vines, humidity, racism, and red dust from red clay are common. Ain't no blackish topsoil around there. Red Dust, in response to the poem Dust by Danusha Lameris. Play my hand. When it came to classroom projects and the teachers asked the students to choose whomever they wanted to be on a team with, I was either picked dead last or passed over entirely. Only once during a labor studies class in college was I chosen first in a group classroom project. First pick at the business end of an Italian chick's finger. She wasn't my type. She wasn't a goth, as I had lived back then. Probably wanted me for something other than a classroom project. Didn't feel like I won anything. Didn't feel accomplished that day as a fifth wheel. I play my hand with the marked cards I've been dealt, bound to cheat me out of a real victory. Play my hand for Marjorie Lofty, William and Monica. She's a little LA, he's a little LA, she's a little DC. A couple of punk club kids at different times finally met as goths. William from Shadow Project, Monica from Strange Boutique. From there, both exchanged tapes through the mail, back and forth. Soon it arose, Cinderella romance, 1990s dark wave style. Their union was sealed with a body of beautiful, moody music for the darkly inclined. Illyria, and When Beneath the Waves, Evidence of Heaven. They played the instruments, just those two. Celtic mythology, Victorian times influenced just those two. Nah, they lent their voices, just those two. On labors of love that got me through my final 4 years on the East Coast, soothing sonic balm for such lonesome, miserable, emotionally trying days. William Faith and Monica Richards, his muse. These days, it's not William and Monica anymore. Love changed the parent. He's a little LA, she's a little Chicago. A couple of goth elders crafting beautiful, driving music for the darkly inclined of a new generation as a syndicate. William Faith and scary lady Sarah Rose. William and Monica. This was Eden. Concerts, Faith in the Muse, The Last Dance, Bella Morte, Blue Tangle, Bauhaus, A Dream Come True. This was eaten before I gave it up. Festivals, Convergence, Dark Arts, Shadow Dance, Edwardian Ball, Mira Luna. Well, can't blame a brother for dreaming. This was eaten before I gave it up. Belly Dance, Lumen Obscura, Deshret, Jawe Raw, Serpentine, Glass Eaters. They're from Germany, but their fluid movements impressive. This was eaten before I gave it up. Club Nights, Death Guild, Strange Love, Bar Sinister, Nocturna, Oubliette, 80s Death Rock Central. This was eaten before I shone myself out. Good times were had, living as a night child. No total loss. This was eaten. Scream Queen, written in a French poetry style called Aquitaine. English at birth, Italian at heart. They don't make them like you no more. Anyway, created to grace horror films like they were Edwardian manors, crypts, and castles medieval, usually as rich girls, scared damsels, witches, ghosts, dark-eyed Barbara Steele, the real deal, where your crown scream queen, for our love of fright. Scream Queen. And a Aquitaine is a French poem written in 8 lines with 8 to 10 syllables per line. Self-defeat, Panku. Putting self down, judging self based on others' judgments. Putting self down again, rebuked by the opposite sex. Putting self down again. Haters' comments overrule best traits. Putting self down again. My worst existing critic, me. Putting self down once more. Cause lifetime of rejection. Self-defeat. A series of 5 panku. And a panku is a short poem consisting of 9 words, devised by New York City poet Elizabeth Sophia Strauss, better known as Deadpan Lizzie, from Neo-Rican Poets Cafe. Sleep chamber walls. We all know for a fact that you don't fit in anywhere. Most places won't accept you, but we'll always have your back. With the 4 of us together, you'll have protection, peace, safety, and shelter from the cold, the heat, the wind, the rain, and people's scorn. A quiet spot to sit down, listen to music, create new things you and maybe the world might like. A feeling of sanctuary unknown anywhere else, but encircled by us, your trusty sleep chamber walls. Sleep chamber walls, inspired by a writing prompt from the book Healing Through Words by Canadian Indian poet Rupi Kaur. Tortureless panic, fed on the fear of the future of the planet in slow motion doomsday, consisting of minute doomsdays here and there. Had us running in panic for home, slammed the front door shut. Pray they never reach your doorstep. While they're selling us the end, worldwide shopkeepers open up their shops with a smile, expectation of a consumer rush on par with Black Friday. Present themselves as our saviors, motivate sales by saying our time's run out. Get what you can while supplies last. Hoard what you can. Try to buy your way out of collective trauma. Your shock drives the economy. Your panic keeps the big shops in business. And all the while, from what I observed, the planet still warms. Doomsday still comes charging. Although we disagree on some matters, Naomi Klein was right. Torschluss panic, a German word meaning shut door panic. Based on actual events, this is called Mount Davidson. 9 years before, I encountered a peak near Twin Peaks. Memory of climbing that mighty mound brought me back. Juanita Street off of Teresita Street, access point to a mountain in the city, West Bay's secret, not so secret. Suburban road, nice, well-kept houses with well-trimmed lawns led me to the legend. There it was again, loomed over the suburbs, giant verdant shadow. Cobblestone stairs spilt from its edge in a long curve. The hiking trail, first one followed, blocked with park signage, closed for maintenance. Found second cobblestone stairs, despite P&R, Parks and Recreation. Warning signs, no coyotes in sight. As a passing robin flew near, I followed, busting a hard left. Found third cobblestone stairs. Masonry spill closer to the top. At the very summit, distant yet loud rings from a church bell, at least 12, seemed fitting since I sat right below the great gray granite Christian cross of San Francisco legend, half hidden amidst ivy-covered evergreen trees. Flower wreaths from well-wishers surround the concrete base. Splashes of color counter paved solid gray. Scaling down Mount Davidson for the second time, the long hike on a descending muddy curve had me think, if that giant cross was a memorial for Armenian lives lost in a 1915 Holocaust, then where are the monuments to the ongoing African Holocaust? Where are the memorials engraved and erected for the free descendants of the Wolof, the Igbo, the Yoruba, the Mandinka, the Shogo, the Ateke, the Mende, the Sereri people, brought here, bound in irons, summarily killed on America's hostile streets? Mount Davidson for Kiana the artist, Atlanta poet and dancer. Nothing new, U.S.A. There's nothing new for me to write tonight, except this. I'll make it through this maddening life without blind faith. In Jesus' second coming, in the revolution, in glorious futures I won't get to see. Time fictions don't keep me hydrated and fed. Only reality's byproducts can. You can't tell really. Tomorrow never keeps its promises without question. Too many seek answers at altars, anything. Subservience is the norm. Celebrate. The obedient state? Not me. Fuck social lobotomy. I reject masters higher than me, no gods. I refuse to follow factions, no flags. I resist the lure of fantasy, no bullshit. Christianity, anarchy, distance from both. The cross, the circle A, renounce forever. I control my sense of time, and I'd rather use it to plan, to think. skilled at learning from errors, expert at apostasy. Nothing new, GSA. GSA means golden shovel attempt, which is what this poem is. The words in italics are from the song No Gods, No Flags, No Bullshit by German industrial band Faderhead. And the last poem is called Peacemaker, Diamond. Ex-Crip performed a miracle. Red and blue at war transformed into one tribe. Peacemaker for Stanley Tookie Williams, 1953 to 2005. Rest in peace. Former King of the Crips, turned Nobel Peace Prize winner. And a diamond poem is a center-aligned short poem, has 5 lines, 13 words, runs in a 1-3-5-3-1 word sequence, and is shaped like a diamond on the page. Creator of this form, unknown. From this mic to your ears, I'm Dee Allen. Thanks for listening.
That was so amazing.
Oh my
Awesome.
And then to hear
Bravo,
new stuff.
bravo.
Oh my God, it was so good. It was so good.
Fire,
Thank you.
as always, fire.
I love the history lesson. I love the poetic education.
It's
we
so
get as
refreshing to hear your work, brother. For real.
Very
All that new
refreshing,
shit,
refreshing.
man. Keep bringing it.
Keep right on, right on, right
Hey
on.
D, can you I'm gonna spot your spotlight as I'm giving you an encore. Can you give us one more before you go?
Yeah. But that's up to the audience to decide. Do
Oh,
y'all
it's been
want to hear
decided.
one more? Do y'all want to hear one more from me?
Yes.
Okay, the thumbs are up. For those who don't have their cameras on, press the reactions button for thumbs up. I want to see. And that means you too, Ed Potastic. Okay, it's been decided. I got an encore coming. So let me give you one more before I go into the not ready for
Primetime poets. There you go.
primetime poets. So I'm about to activate the share screen feature one more time. And this one I wrote on Friday. This one is called Slay the Beast. Tribes of conscience, hear me. We band together on this day in preparation of a unsettling, but necessary fight. Sorcerers of spite who rule this land, and the villagers, too glad to do their nasty bidding, have called upon with a spell, straight from a smoky, fiery pit, a monster, as old as they kingdom, and just as vicious, a monster that kept us apart and afraid, seen as inferior long enough. Raise your swords, raise your shields, use your sharp spears, use your bows and swift arrows. Let the boots you wear do all your speaking. When that hateful saurian stomps forth, with our numbers slay the beast. The thick, spike-backed, long-tailed, long-clawed, blood-red-eyed, fire-spitting, ivory-scaled, fanged leviathan. White supremacy shall meet with a bitter defeat. And that last poem was called Slay the Beast, inspired by the triptych poem Misexperienced White by San Francisco poet and podcaster Milo Starr Johnson. For real, from this mic to your ears, I'm Dee Allen. Thanks for listening.
Marvelous, my friend. Well done. Well done. I was capturing lines and then I stopped because you know what? To listen to lines and it takes me away from your poem. So I just put the pen down. I'm going to trust others have been doing the same things, but you're just the storytelling that you do. And I was saying this. I love the stories that you give, but I also love the poetic education that we get as well in regards to understanding poetry and the style it was written in. So I'm just sitting here and amazed because I've heard you many times before, but these were all new poems that we've never heard before.
I wanted to do something completely different from many features that I've done in the past. Every time I've done a feature for a spoken word salon, such as this one, or straight up open mic, I always would promote a book of my own that has just come out, or an anthology which contains maybe 1 or 2 poems of mine,
Right.
and promote that. But I decided to do something different with this feature and give y'all a fresh offering rather than serving up leftovers.
Well, and I'm greatly appreciative. I'm sure we're all greatly appreciative to hear, brand off the press's new Dee Allen pieces that no one has heard before. So I feel blessed and honored that you've done that. And just the depth again, when I said that, you're unapologetic, I'm not kidding. I just love your style. I love you. You seem to have a very strong understanding. This is who I am. Take it or leave it.
Yep. Take it or leave it.
Yeah. So
We'll take it, man. We'll take it.
we'll take it, definitely. We'll take it. So
Yeah.
this is the Q&A party where where I ask some questions trying to get to know you in a different way.
Go for them.
So
Whatever the questions are, I'm ready.
yeah, well, the questions are they're not rocket science questions. They're questions designed for us to get to know you in a different way. And just listening to these new pieces, it took me back to, do you remember the first time you shared a poem? Like the first time you shared it outside?
Yes, I did. The first time I've ever shared a poem was back in December of 1992 in a public place.
Okay.
I was at a birthday party at the house of some local punk band, and I just happened to be writing a new poem on a coffee table in the house, just 3 pages that I managed to get through. And as soon as I was finished with it, I'm looking it over, proofreading it, checking it for mistakes and whatnot, and seeing if it flows. And then 2 of my boys, a black braided haired heavy metal guitarist and a brown long haired punk rock bassist from this band whose house I'm going to this birthday party at. And they both, Paco and Pretis, both tell me, wow, this poem's good. You should go up there and perform it for the crowd on that mic. And I'm like, not me. But they're convincing me, you're gonna do great. Just go up to the mic and recite your piece, man. And my hands are shaking like San Francisco was during the earthquake of 1989. The pages are in my hand. My hands are shaking uncontrollably. And I'm thinking, what if I'm no good? What if these guys start booing me? What if they want me to step away from the mic? What if I suck? I was highly insecure. And my hands were still shaking. But I got up to the mic, I performed my 3-page poem on voting, particularly the gullibility of US voters in the 2-party power grab shit show that goes on in my country every year. I go into the whole 3 pages, get it over with, and suddenly the crowd's applauding me. Everybody's clapping, everybody's hooting and hollering. And I'm thinking, I wasn't expecting this.
Right. How old were you?
I mean,
I was 24 years old at the time.
Okay.
a 3-page poem for a debut thing, kick-ass, man. Wow.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, most folk, it's like, I've got this little piece I want to do, you know?
A few lines, exactly.
Yeah.
I was so disgusted. I was so disgusted with the great Democratic victory of Bill Clinton back in late 1992 that I had to write all those feelings down about how gullible the voters were down on paper at that moment.
Right.
The poem was called Serve, and it's forever lost to history.
What do you mean, forever lost to history?
There was a time back in the year 2000 when I wrote this poem with a dope starting line. And the more I kept trying to write lines to match that first opening line, the more I started to realize that I kept forcing it out. And then when I was finished with this poem, I looked at it and it was the biggest hunk of shit I have ever written, the worst poem ever. And I was so mad at myself that I just destroyed the piece and threw it in a trash can, and then threw 6 black ring binder notebooks in the trash can right behind it. I was so mad at myself and pulled the dumbest move ever out of a fit of rage, all because of one abortive attempt at writing a poem. And that led to like 7 years of writer's block. So all those old pieces that I threw away that were in those binders are forever lost to history.
Onto the
Five binders contained poems, and one big binder contained song lyrics.
So you write songs as well?
Before I transitioned to writing poetry, I wrote exclusively song lyrics, and I worked with several bands that never made it past the garage. Heavy metal bands, mind you.
Okay.
When I was 20, I wanted to be a heavy metal singer, believe it or not. I was still living out my metalhead days.
So who were your groups back then?
I liked Iron Maiden, I liked Judas Priest, I liked Anthrax from New Jersey, Overkill. I also liked Sacred Reich from Phoenix. There was Slayer, Exodus. There was like a whole long list.
You were a heavy metal, you were a serious head. Were you into punk? Were you into punk as well, or?
Yeah, I was also into punk. I listened to both music forms at the same time, and then I became a punk by the early 1990s.
Okay.
And that was the time when I became a poet for the first time, when I was living out my punk rock dude days.
Do you still see those musical influences in your poetry today?
Hell yeah. Whenever I write down, I always have it in my head that I'm going to use this for a performance.
Maybe one day you'll perform for us. I'd love to.
I already did.
No, I want to hear you sing a lyric. So, but that's a different story. That's a different story.
I don't think the world's ready for that.
Yeah, I say that. I put that on you, and then I think, no, I'm not going to do that either. So I'm not going to put that on.
Because I'm not a particularly great singer.
Yeah, but I love your writing, though, and obviously your early. Where'd you get that love for heavy metal? Like what influences in your life back then led you to that type of music?
When I was 15, I was flipping channels on the TV in my aunt and uncle's living room, and sure enough, I came upon MTV, and on MTV there was this video called "Looks That Kill" by Motley Crue. And this was back in November of 1983 when their second album, Shout at the Devil, came out. I'm looking at this 5-minute video and I'm like, holy shit, what is this? This looks cool.
Yeah.
And it sounds cool too. I don't listen to Motley Crue no more, but I still listen to Judas Priest and Iron Maiden and Dio any day of the week.
Okay.
That's childhood shit for me.
I remember watching a documentary on punk and not realizing the roles that Black played in the early punk days in the New York scene. And, because, the perception is punk is white, white people's music, and it's not.
Yeah, I never bought into that.
Yeah.
In the 90s, I was hardcore into Black-led bands like Bad Brains from Washington, D.C., Fishbone from L.A.
I remember Fishbone.
The guitarist Rocky George from Suicidal Tendencies, 5-piece band from Los Angeles. Living Color, also from New York City.
Mm-hmm.
247 Spies from Washington, D.C., and from my old home city of Atlanta, Follow for Now.
I'm loving the smile on your face as you reminisce and talk about these things. So you're from
I used
Atlanta?
to love, yeah.
Go ahead. No, finish the thought.
I used to love those bands hardcore. And yes, I came to the San Francisco Bay Area / Northern California from Atlanta. Big city boy.
How long did you live in Atlanta?
I lived in Atlanta well up until November 2002.
Okay. So why Oakland? Why Northern California?
I once read somewhere that San Francisco was the #1 artist-friendly city in the USA. And I decided, San Francisco, maybe I'll start my life over here in this artist-friendly city. And I did. And I became a published writer some years down the road after 7 years of writer's block broken. Rick Spizak knows the story, and I've shared it with him on his podcast, Poets of the East.
Yeah. Well, thanks for recapturing some of it here. So when you write a piece, even before you recite it out loud, what feelings come over you once you know you've finished a piece?
When I know that there's no grammatical errors, that it has a good flow to it if I recite it aloud.
Mm-hmm.
But as I'm writing it, there's images that pop into my head. It's like a slideshow, one after the other.
Right.
One scene after another.
Okay. Would you consider yourself a prolific writer? Do you write a lot, or do you go in spurts, or?
More or less in spurts, but far as the output that I'm given, yeah, prolific.
Yeah, I would say you are a prolific writer.
But my sister, the late T.L. Allen, and I still miss her every day. She was more prolific than I was. She put out her first 3 books before I put out my first one.
Wow. And
she put out a total of 18 books in her lifetime compared to my 7.
Of poetry as well, or?
No, she didn't do poetry. She alternated between urban fiction, how-to books / inspirational, and books about Black history.
Okay.
And she also did urban fiction, at least faux urban fiction books.
Were your
I have 2 of them.
Were your parents artists as well, or?
My mother doesn't have an artistic bone in her body, but she's proud of me, and I'm glad.
Yeah, we're proud of you, brother. She did a good job raising you, my friend. Good job. We're gonna get going to wrap this up, but I want to ask you a few more things. What's your favorite word? Do you have a favorite word?
My favorite word is firebrand, and a firebrand is someone who is passionate about a certain subject or cause.
Okay.
And that's what I've been in my life as an activist for racial justice, climate justice, and animal rights, as well as being against poverty.
Well, then that quote that I pulled from Langston Hughes probably resonated with you, because Langston Hughes talked about that. He goes, if you don't have love for everyone, then you can't have love at all. So And you-
Hughes was right. And
Yeah.
Hughes was one of the many old school writers who influenced me to pick up the pen and start writing poetry.
Yeah, I'm so glad that happened. Do you have a favorite sound?
A favorite sound.
Favorite sound? What do you like hearing? What do you really love hearing?
I love hearing wind blowing through the trees
Mm.
and the way they susurrate.
Okay.
And the susurration in the trees kind of reminds me of water in the ocean flowing and crashing on the shore.
I know right now with all the social injustice going on, or, you know, it feels like we're in a shift in our human consciousness. But with all the craziness that's going on, how do you see life?
I feel like this change in the consciousness is a change for the better, something I've been working toward for most of my life. But Florida and Texas, those two places where books are being banned, where the teaching of real non-white people's history is being discouraged, could use that change. And I hope anything that I've written could help fuel that fight against those things.
Well, I appreciate that. I think there's too much politicizing going on all those topics. So I'm not going to get into that because I think there's not enough information, and there's a lot of misinformation that's being pumped out on all things these days. So, but for me,
Fair enough.
I know for me, I agree with you. This discomfort that we're in, and I call it discomfort because I use that word in my private practice when I'm working with people. The discomfort.
That one poem I did today called Tushless Panic, I basically wrote that remembering a conversation that you and I once had one-on-one,
right.
And how you don't jump on the climate change bandwagon because money is being made off of this disaster.
Yeah, I just look at the things in my life, but throughout my experiences. And it's not that these issues aren't real, but they become politicized, and then we capitalize on them, and they become money. I look at organic, how organic now has become a major marketing thing. So this is why I try to find balance. And I'm not saying that these things aren't real or true, but where's the balance? Because I don't believe everything I'm being told. But that's the beauty of life. We all have an opinion, and for me, I want my opinion to be as informative as possible if I'm going to share it. So I appreciate, like I said, this is why I say you're non-apologetic. You and I've had many one-on-one conversations. It's not about who's right or wrong. It's about learning and sharing from each other and going, okay, what does Dee know that I don't know that maybe I can go take a look at? And I think this is what, this is why I do these shows. This is why I put my poetry out the way I do, it's not to say you're right or wrong. It's like, do you really understand your worldview? I'm not going to attack somebody else's worldview if I don't understand my worldview, truly understand it. Is it mine, or is it something that has been conditioned for me to think of? So that's why I think you and I are very similar in that regard. So that's why I enjoy our conversations a lot. So let's say we'll have another one soon, but I want to get going because we have a long list in this.
Let's get ready now for the not ready for primetime poets.
Let me ask a couple of more questions, very simple questions. You have a favorite? I forget the favorite word. I'm gonna ask you this. This is the last question because you've been so gracious already, not just with your poetry, but with your answers and just the way you are. If God does exist, Dee,
it would be necessary to abolish him. Mikhail Bakunin.
But if God, or whatever you call it, exists, and after you've taken your last breath in this physical existence, wherever you go, what would you want to hear when you arrive?
I want to hear welcome, something I almost never got in most of my life. And I have faced a lifetime of rejection from both sexes.
Got you. Good answer.
But I'm straight.
Well, you're D, and that's who you are. And this is why we're here. And this is why everyone showed up today. Anyone, ladies and gentlemen, unmute yourselves. And we know he's welcomed here. So show D some love, because you've been welcomed in this community for a while now, my brother. You're a valued member of this community.
Yeah, Dean.
Congratulations, D.
Well done. Well done, brother. Well
We
done.
value you and we see you.
To steal a line from Elemental, your what do you call him? The Storm's Elemental? I usually say the Storm, your force of
Storm
nature.
gods in the building.
Yeah, storm gods in the building. You're a storm god for sure, my brother. Thank you for that powerful set. And again, not just the power, the fact that you chose to honor us with new pieces. All of them were brand new pieces, and that I'm grateful for. So thank you for your generosity, for your spirit, for your heart, for your intellect. Every time I speak with you, I learn something. I am not a trained poet, so I love listening to you when you talk about poetry from a technical standpoint. So, you know, you're a solid stand-up brother. That's all I can say. I love you. Thank you for doing this.
Thank you.
You're most welcome. All right, let's continue on. Let's continue on. We have a long list of not ready for prime time poets. So let's get through it. Poets, just remember you have up to 5 minutes to recite. You don't have to use the full 5 minutes, but you have up to 5 minutes. I'll ask you to unmute your mics again. I've posted the list, but I will also reach out to you to let you know when you're coming up, just as a reminder. So stay tuned. Let's enjoy. Let's continue. We're going to move from brilliance of D to brilliance of our friend Alexandra. Alexandra, as tradition, I always ask you to take us out of the feature and kind of set the tone for the not ready for prime time poets. So all the way from Greece, we all love her. We love the serenity and the Zen-like feel that we get from her poetry and her digital art. Give it up for Alexandra.
I'm just going to repeat an older poem because the new one isn't ready.
That's all good.
Okay. My trembling personality, my galloping personality. My trembling personality, my galloping personality. Let my flaws in, let my virtues in. Battling, balancing between earthly and ideal behavior. Riding with warrior duties, flying with festive ceremonies. Ancestors and descendants transforming protogenic instinct and barbarity into cultured, refined nobleness. All personalities becoming one. Following the smoke of Ithaca, wayfaring my own boat. Ruins behind, dreams ahead, expectations blending with sirens' songs. Punishments and rewards, repenting and enriching our voyage. Crusading, descending and ascending, scarring and rejuvenating. My trembling mind, my galloping mind. Let my fears in, let my visions in. Battling, balancing between earthly and ideal reality. Riding past fallen Troy, flying towards sacred temples. Poetry and prophecies, transforming missions and experiences into immortal knowledge and treasures. All minds becoming one. Unadorned words enchanting the fiery dragon of the golden fleece. Angels and dart all ablaze, burning down all molds. Prometheus gifting profound new templates and ideologies. Lighting up matter and spirit, earth and sky. my trembling heart, my galloping heart. Let my sorrows in, let my raptures in. Battling, balancing between earthly and ideal love. Riding through tempestuous waves, flying through moonlit water lilies. Cocooning chrysalids, transforming hurt and trauma into hardened malt. All hearts becoming one. Hovering above earth's wounds, embracing the altar of healing. Mystical muses weaving threads of sweetness, of solace. Resilient yarns guiding us through labyrinths of personal growth. Initiating, elevating each journey of each relationship. My trembling soul, my galloping soul. Let my sins in, let my blessings in. Battling, balancing between earthly and ideal liberation. Riding into dichotomized horizons, flying into cosmic rays. Eternal divine laws, transforming dark ancient forces into golden propulsion and pulsation. All souls becoming one, lighting my own path, a path unique to me. Purgatory's sun, holding turmoiled memories, inflexible desires, escaped hopes. Rising and setting in the azure of the sea, in the azure of the spirit. Surging into eternity with full sails, all my efforts maturing. Our trembling civilizations, our galloping civilizations. Let our tribulations in, let our exaltations in. Battling, balancing between earthly and ideal humanity. Thank you.
Before we move on, I invite you to take a couple of nice deep breaths and just take that in. Thank you so much, Alexandra. Once again, don't apologize for ever repeating something you've done before, because we hear it in a different way every time. It's just brilliant. I love the tone that you set, and then even the depths of your words resonate with a different energy because of that. So thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you for always being here and supporting us and leading us into the next phase. So, all right, from brilliance to brilliance, up next, usually I have the first time readers of to the show go on, but a friend that's coming up has to jump on a plane soon. So I'm gonna shut up and give her the full time so she can do her poetry, and then she can leave us on a jet plane. Anyway, snap it up for Marianne.
Thank you so much, Raul. Good morning, everybody. Congratulations, Dee. What a fantastic set. It's such a privilege to be here to support you today. You have been one of those people who really has fed my baby steps into the Zoomverse, and I appreciate you so much. It was a pleasure to listen to you today. On that note, this week I opened the mail and along came a lovely volume from the Unfolded Poetry Project, in which I have a poem that I'd like to share with you. The anthology is called Had I Known Before, and the poem is called, it's the first of two I'll share. If you had told me, written for song. If you had told me it would ever hurt so much to say your name, like a voice inside me crying rivers in the rain. If you had told me I would miss you like the ocean craves the shore, my shoes would still be lying there inside your kitchen door. If you had told me I would ever have to stop and read the signs, standing at the crosswalk where I'd stood 1,000 times. If you had told me Friday night would drown the hurt, but Monday I'd be driving past that place you used to work. You know I've always been the kind who lives inside my head, works things out in my mind and feels them to the end. So when I took my keys to go, the hurting had been done, but then I realized our love was never really gone. If you had told me that you wanted me to speak straight from the heart, knowing that the silences were always tearing us apart, if you had told me that you needed me to read between your lines, your smile would still be shining from the pillow next to mine. If you had told me all the things I didn't know, if you had told me you never wanted me to go, if you had told me we could have found another way, if you had told me I'd still be loving you today. Thank you. That's mine, and it was a great pleasure and privilege and a piece of synchronicity, I guess, to find two poems by our featured Dee Allen also here in this anthology. And it would be my privilege, and Dee, I hope you do not mind, but I would love to read your poem, Subculture, that resonates.
I don't mind that at all.
Thank you, Dee. I spent my entire young life in active search of myself. Racism made me leave the heavy metal scene. Backstabbing made me leave the punk scene. High school clique level immaturity made me leave the Circle A scene. Lack of a lover and peers of similar tastes made me shed black Gothic threads in favor of colors. In my pursuit through the crowds, I found myself in pieces. Went from metalhead to punk to goth and anarchist combo. Those years, those stages were fun, but they ended with dissatisfaction or the taste of spew. The mainstream don't want me, and the underground doesn't either. I don't see a contingent of folks with open arms happily chanting, one of us, one of us, one of us to me anytime soon. Through the looks, crowds, years, stages, I found myself in pieces. Went from metalhead to punk to goth and anarchist combo. Now I'm nothing but a subculture of one. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, especially Dee.
Thank you so much, Marianne. Thank you for that beautiful first piece, and then honoring
Thank
Dee
you,
and
Smiley.
sharing one of Dee's pieces. Thank you so much. Have a safe flight.
Thank you so much. Maybe see you in the 6th this week.
Yes.
Thank you.
You will. All right. From brilliance to brilliance. Up next, we have the host of Like a Blot from the Blue. He too is not feeling well, but I'm so glad that he recovered and he could be here. It's the first time he's making it to the Inspired Poetry Corner, so I'm honored when this man, I love his poetry, so and he's also a really good host. So anyway, guys, snap it up for Finn.
Hey. Yeah, I'm going to try and get through this one. This is a new one. I was actually going to try and do, as many of you know, I've and midnight tonight is the deadline, by the way. I'm putting together a 3-year anniversary of Like a Blot from the Blue with people who have been on Blot Film live or on the Zoom. So if you have been, you've got to midnight to get a poem in. And I was going to do Dee's one from the book, but my voice isn't strong enough to carry that forward today. So I'm going to do this new one of mine. It's called A Deficit of Wonder. If Tom said it, in case you're curious, our search for knowledge is essentially easier nowadays, but the facts we find are often spurious. The past is full of deep darkness of not knowing, with the joy showing when something new is found. The imperceptible sound of information, which will alter the situation and frighten our controllers, as the worst things that could be done is to educate people. But nowadays, there is a deficit of wonder. Things can be found at the touch of a keypad, where the sad and bigoted bring forth facts, because one person states the truth as they see it, using the interweb as the mission task, finding an answer on everything you ask. It has its uses. Is oftentimes that abuses the ideas that years of study and craft is daft, because the links that found are sound. They have done their research online. Yeah, and Wikipedia is fine, despite needing to be verified. And you get vilified for saying so. With easy access to technology in the palm of one sweaty hand, it takes 2 hours to watch a 90-minute film as you rectify the mystery of who that guy is and where have you seen them before. Convenient, I guess, but not always needed. And just let it be a thing you don't need to know. Settling many arguments or discussions with the truthless repercussions of the powerful control the powerless by shouting louder and spouting only the selective things they want them to hear. It's clear. A little knowledge goes a long way, goes the wrong way. The philosophers fight, and one goes for the jugular, while the other one hits the marks. And I got finished with a short one that was in an anthology earlier on this year. It's called Today. Today, I woke up, saw the sunshine through the curtains, and today I sat up in my bed and set my mind to certain. Today, I pushed the covers back and gathered thoughts in my head. Today, I put my feet on the floor and wondered what the day would hold. Today, I stood up. I took a step forward. Today, I hoped I could be bold and face my fears. Today, I did what I always do just to get through another day. Today, my mind is positive, thinking good thoughts. Today, if I'm lucky, I'll survive. Get by and smile in public. Today, my insides will churn, my stomach burn, and today I will try to do more and get by. Today, I may be lucky to meet no one who will judge. Today, my confidence will be strong, hopefully all day long. But if it's not, I have to retrace my steps and retreat to my safe place. I will try again tomorrow, for tomorrow is another today. Thank you.
Well, Finn, your words are just so engaging, my friend. Wow. Love those two pieces. Well done. Well done. For those of you that are unfamiliar with Finn, check him out on Facebook. And this to all you posts, please put your information in the chat so others can reach out to you. His show, it's the first Sunday of every month, I believe. And also, as Finn just mentioned, he's putting together an anthology of performers that have performed, excuse me, performed at Like a Blot from the Blue. So when did you say the deadline is, Finn?
It's not long, actually. It's midnight tonight, your time. Anytime is fine.
Okay.
There's most folk on here have, let me go through the blotters. It has an Alexandra, Jane Spoken Word, yourself, Lantern Carrier, Catrice.
Okay.
Yeah, that Ed Poetastic, they're the only ones that haven't put one forward from here. So, oh, and Keith Marr, he's been on once too, so he's a blotter.
Okay. How do you want people to send it to you? Just email it or?
Email, message, it's all the same.
Okay.
Like cut and paste and all that,
All right.
I have it on various devices. So email to likeablotfromtheblue@gmail.com or just direct message. It's all the same. No length, no subject. Just put your name at the bottom where you are, and if the poem has been published before, whereabout. That's it. Simple. No rules.
Right. Well
I've got a couple of poems that are, that are tick up about a book itself. So I'm not making rules and stuff like most people do, no more than 40 lines. And, I don't care. People have got to write what they've got to write, man.
Well, I appreciate it, Finn. Appreciate all you do. That's not just the only thing. Finn does a lot of different projects during the course of the year. So if you're not familiar with him, friend him and just follow him, because somewhere along the line, he'll capture your fancy in whatever he's doing. So he's one of those movers and shakers in poetry as well. So I appreciate and applaud your effort, my friend. I'm glad you're feeling better. All right. All right. Let's continue on from brilliance to brilliance. Up next, another first time reciter here at the Inspired Poetry Corner. I believe he's a friend of Dee. I'm not sure, but he reached out to me wanting to recite because Dee was here today. So I invite you to give him a warm welcome. Let's welcome Keith. The mic is yours, my friend.
Thank you, sir. I'm honored to be here. Thank you all for nurturing this wonderful space. I'm going to share a piece that some of you may be familiar with. I'm finding that each time I share this, I'm claiming a little bit more of my identity as an Asian man. And I feel compelled to continue to share it until I make a little more sense of it. Having said that, I want to thank someone that's here, Maureen Medina, for graciously offering her astute editing eye to my piece. So thank you very much, Maureen. So this is called, my friends, The Ache for Home. The ache for home lives in all of us, the safe place where we can go as we are and not be questioned. Maya Angelou. To be Asian and male in America means, for me, that the ache for home, for a safe place where I am not questioned as I am, that ache is bone deep. I have been desperately searching for home and my rightful place my whole life. But I am lost. I long for a balm to soothe this ache. The salve in my salvation lies in facing what is mine to face. I testify to heal the wounded male in me, to find the loving voice that whispers, my beautiful Asian boy, the shame you feel has never been yours to keep. You see, trauma isn't just what happened to you that shouldn't have, it's what should have been done or said that wasn't. This is for all the beautiful Asian boys raised on American movies and TV, believing a sidekick was the best they could ever be. This is for all the beautiful golden boys never seen someone with their face possessing any romantic capacity. My Asian brothers and I have been robbed of what makes all of us human, our ability to love, our core humanity. Racial castration, structural emasculation, feminization are all soul-wounding injuries. This is for the golden boys who are made to hate their eyes, their looks, and their bodies. This is for the boys who were told that manhood is measured by his height and sexual prowess, by how much he can hide his fear, sadness, and hurt, his refusal to ask for help, how much alcohol he can consume. Disabling when you've inherited the genes for the Asian glow. There's no rest facing a daily Eurocentric standardized test when we aren't given standardized lives. The Chinese Exclusion Act of 1882, barring Chinese from entering this country, was repealed in 1943, but the modern day No Dating Asian Males Exclusion Act has yet to be repealed. Being Asian and male means you can feel so undesirable when a girl asks you to the high school dance You don't believe she's serious, and sadly, you don't accept her offer. It means the math teacher at my new high school is positive I am a math whiz and forces me to give up lunch hour after lunch hour to take test after test. I buckled under the pressure. I didn't do well. I was ashamed to look at her for the rest of the year. You see, you can be ashamed. You don't live up to someone's stereotype of you. It means you can be pulled over by the local police in your small California Central Valley town, ban you from a public restaurant you just left. Rage and impotence are a scream lodged in your throat, so you return several times more until your arrest for a DWA, dining while Asian. I claim my years of self-loathing when I was ashamed to see someone that looked like me. Once I saw an Asian in a well-known rock group on TV. He reminded me of someone I despised, myself. Imagining others would despise him too, I mocked him to beat others to the punch. Shame makes you dissociate from people that look like you. My first day at my new high school, I saw the new girl was also Asian. Filled with panic, I ran ahead to my new classroom so she wouldn't enter with me. I didn't want the class to think we were together. Being Asian and male means many men I meet for the very first time on the basketball court, a friend of my son's, in my office, tell me, hey, I'm really into Asian girls, and think it's a compliment. It means a complete white stranger may cast a colonial gaze at my daughter and assume he can walk up to you and tell you, your daughter is beautiful, and ask for a high five. Would Mr. Complete Stranger ask a Black or Latino or a white dad for a high five? I light a candle for the little boy whose trauma lives in an alley on the west side of Fresno, who waits for me to bring him home. The alley where his cousins would steal pomegranates from Big Hat Pete's tree. The alley where Michael would pick his victims, like my cousins picked fruit, choosing the freshest and the ripest ones. I was ripe for the picking. Hands under my pants in exchange for a bike ride. My shame the greater because my skin betrayed me, starved for the unfamiliar comfort of touch by Chinese parents who never held me. Deleted from memory, the bleach of dissociation could not wash away the self-hate, because a real man is never a victim. In California, it was illegal for a Chinese face like mine to be seen after dark. So the Chinese built tunnels under the streets to travel at night. I built tunnels in my heart where my song went underground to survive. I celebrate my song. My song beats with the rhythm of Guangdong, the land where the mountains meet the sea. Let us celebrate the beauty of all of our songs. Let us celebrate a masculinity based on the bravery to truly be ourselves and to ask for what we need and want, not based on putting others down, but on lifting others up. Let us celebrate in the places where we dream. I want you to know Weak is not my name. Sidekick is not my name. Afterthought is not my name. Punchline is not my name. My name is hope. My name is heart. My name is courage. My name is love. Thank you for listening.
Thank you so much, Keith. Thank you for the power of that piece and the vulnerability that you delivered it with. We felt it. You know, this is why, seems like racism today is about black and white, and yet it involves everyone, not just black and white. So thank you for that. Thank you for that reminder. And we see you here. We see you here. You are welcomed here. Thank you, brother. Thank you so much for that. All right. From brilliance to brilliance, another first-time performer. I heard her last Monday, I believe. I know Dee said Thursday, but I'm pretty sure I was at the Monday cafe show and she was there. Lanton had brought her in. So I'm glad that she's here today. Let's give her a warm welcome. It's the first time that she's is performing here at the Inspired Poetry Corner. I hope I'm saying this correctly. Trajan, AKA Love Infinity. The floor is yours, my friend. Still muted.
Thank you.
There you go. There you go.
Thank you to Dee for the amazing feature today, and thank you to each and every poet that went before me. I'm really so grateful to be in this space, pushing my anxiety into the floor beneath my feet, to deliver these poems that I've gathered for you. I'm gonna do two, one of which I wrote a couple days ago, and this second one I wrote last night or this morning. So this first poem is called Welcome to Planet Infinite. Yeah, it's important for me to touch somebody, but being honest, ain't nobody more important than me touching my body. I am the magic that I gotta protect, because how will I connect to you if I'm disconnected from my own vessel? And plus, it's really hard to make a living when somebody touched my body, sold it and made a killing as a child. And not just some, I mean a lot of some bodies. I was so young, singing Mariah Carey's Touch My Body, already repressed all the memories of a world too naughty. God asked me, what's my legacy? 'Cause I'm somebody who got something to say to everybody. My mama hated that. I spoke when I wanted, not when spoken to. My confidence was fat. She used to buy me books about self-esteem, like she wasn't the one that ran me flat. Over. I was the one to put the air back in my tires. But this big old baby's getting tired. Who's gonna inspire me to heal all the bitterness in my body? Oh, what a tired queen. Heavy is the crown upon my head. I want a vacation for 40 days and nights shamelessly in bed. All expense paid. I want to stand out in the pouring rain, out there in Spain, then watch the sun rays emerge from the east, meditating on peace and eating cuisine purchased in Bangkok. I want to go viral for telling the world my truth. My clock don't tick-tock. I'm going to be young forevermore. I want to be so secure. I can purchase one thing from every store. I want to live so long and still have y'all coming back for more. I want to be 144 and have my bones from 24. And who's going to stop me? I stumbled upon the fountain of me, que tu sabes. I'ma complete the mission impossible. Then Tom Cruise to heaven's gates. Dap up God and Dr. Scholes, because my feet was hurting. Balancing on the universe's neck like Kali or something. Shiva ain't got nothing on me. Hold on, I'm saying something. Like the Most High really believed in me. And yes, that's saying something. Because even when I didn't believe in me, they said you made of something matter. The diamond and the pearl. Baby girl, you are the Adam, the Eve, and the serpent, most importantly. The fruit is just so much creative genius buried in you, not just Isaac Newt. You are the music and you are the flute. Don't ever give up on you. Don't ever give up on you. Breathe in, breathe out. That love is you. This next piece is called What If? What if I said that it's already here? All the money that you're dreaming of, the softest, most tenderest hug, every single thing you've been waiting for. You don't have to wait around anymore. What if I told you, please stop creating the distance, making difficult of the simplest mission. Just believe in yourself. Just release all resistance. It's your choice, so make the decision. What if I grabbed you by the face and screamed in your ear? The future is already here. You have to stop disappearing. What if I spoke the truth? That the truth is the timelines are real. Set the record straight, you landed the deal. You absolutely can foot the bill. What if you stop lying to yourself about what you're made of, about the divinity that you came from, about the sovereignty that you reign from? What if it was all true? It was always just buried inside, that you made it so hard with your pride, that you made yourself suffer in mind, that you must stop believing in time, that any time is your time to shine. What if I told you that it's always and already happening, that you don't have to sweat a thing, that you can be the peace that you need? What if I said to you, you're making it harder than it really is, that your superpower is divergence, that you're limiting your inner kid, that your magic, it comes from within? What if I yelled at you that your lineage made sacrifices, so you don't need drugs or devices, that you're making it feel like a crisis? What if I sang to you to accept the blessings with grace, give gratitude and give thanks, that there's no such thing as ranks? What if you believe in your power being faster than lightning, that your voice was as striking as thunder, that it's only yourself that you're psyching? What if you realized that you had the power the whole time, that you simulate all that you see, that I am you and that you are me? What if you actually believed in hope and infinity, in manifesting your dreams, in my words, in my intentionality? What if you actually had faith? What if it was real and not something you say? What if you had trust in the effortless? What if you were actually optimistic? What if you accepted your destiny like it was a present? What if you liked being present? How else would you receive this message? What if you let it happen? What if you're the leader? What if you're the captain? What if trauma's a trap and you fell for it? If life is a dream, why would you waste it snoring? What if you're really unstoppable? What if anything positive is possible? What if your wildest dreams are most probable? What if you fell for the lie of impossible? What if? What if? What if? Thank you.
There's a new force of nature in the house, ladies and gentlemen. It's called Love Infinity. That last piece, not just for you, but all poets, I hope you really listen to that. You are your legacy. You are your own tonic. That's a powerful, powerful, powerful piece. Well done.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for gracing us and letting your light shine, being proud of it. Your legacy, I don't know, that's usually actually up for other people to define based on what you do. So keep doing that. Keep being brilliant like that. Well done. Thank you for honoring us. And for you organizers, I think we have another potential featured poet here. Powerful pieces. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. All right. From brilliance to brilliance, another first time reader here at the Inspired Poetry Corner. I've encountered her at the Nuyorican Cafe on Monday nights, and another brilliant spinner of words. So I'm just gonna shut up and let her do her thing. Snap it up for Bianca. The floor
Awesome.
is
Thank you so much.
good to have you here.
So this piece is called Risen, and I have a Patreon, so our theme this month is the rise of our inner phoenix. So this one has to do with healing. I hope you enjoy. I hate feeling like I'm never enough. So I write words on paper, hoping the ink in my pen can cure me. After all, I'm just bittersweet poetry. I became everything I fear, so now I'm fearless. The poetry that revealed itself as a wet stain on my notebook is just a reminder that this is simply all the love I could never give myself and putting it to good use. Yet just when I thought I conquered that anxiety in me like an angry deity, a spark of lightning crashes onto my life course, giving me every single color in the rainbow, but without the glow. See, this only happens when I challenge my synapses, like my neurons don't understand why they're always strung out, like why I can revert back to addictions that I shadow as old habits, like why I hold myself to a standard I stay choking at because the noose is my good place. I can always smile the biggest because the hurt inside of me is a gaping hole that has a gravitational pull on everything I try to hold on to, so I resort to thinking. If I can cut myself down at every instant with the sharpest razor blades, then maybe my highs can just be mids and gravity won't hurt as much because I too have a tendency to destroy whatever helps me get off the ground between every how are you today is and I'm fine, but I don't think I'll ever be okay. It's another mnemonic phrase I associate with between the length of my smile to the length of my broken heart. And I say broken because shattered sounds too winded. Shattered sounds like me taking fragments of my heart and using them against myself. Shattered sounds like shards of false loyalty piercing my skin again as a reminder that I only know how to befriend people that walk around like they are weapons of mass destruction. I gargle the tears that run down my face so frequently. Saltwater streams create crevices only they can navigate through until they reach my holy grail of a mouth that puddles all of the drenched and damp doubts. My desperation told my depression again. And as I let my liquid soul finally drains itself out of me, I let out a dry sigh of relief. I drop my burden like a rusted ball and chain, trying to anchor my body into another ocean, only for me to realize being an island doesn't mean you need to drown first, or even ever. The dingy despair of my feelings smell like laundry I just never got around to, or a wrung out towel that's been taken from a bathtub filled with waterlogged wounds and sat out in the sun for far too long, it's not become a stale, stained, mediocre savior, or a cluttered bedroom I carved pathways out of that imitate the mazes in my mind. I'm amazed how my mind can still work so vigorously. Sorry. My emotions smell like wood chips from sharpening endless amounts of pencils that keep me writing with sweaty fists, and how the rubber constantly erasing the nuances of my existence can feel like I smeared my blood on every page to remind myself that everything beautiful has a consequence. Exhausted, but not extinguished. The subtleties that life breathes into me that barely escapes the battered and bruised. The untying of the noose. The drawer that keeps away all of the sharp things reminds me that I've died a million times. It's reminding myself that if someone or anyone can love a dying thing this way, then maybe my anguish is the most beautiful tarnished, a wounded warrior, the phoenix that had to burn first to feel the most alive. Thank you.
Another powerful piece about resilience. Wow. Wow. Everything beautiful has a consequence. What a line. What a line. Well done. Well done. So glad you came here today. Thank you so much. Thank you. I'm going to reach out to you in a few days, so stay tuned. Want to hear more of your stuff. Want to hear more. Can't sit and praise too much because we have to move on. So from brilliance to brilliance, another first timer. Again, Elemental's doing his thing at the cafe because this is how I came in contact to this brother, and I reached out to him after, I think it was the last Monday or 2 Mondays ago. Anyway, just want to save time so he can have as much time as possible. He's known as Charles Perry, aka CP Mays. CP Mays. The mic is yours, brother. Welcome to the Inspired Poetry Corner.
Thank y'all for having me. Shout outs to all the poets that came before, the dope ones that's gonna come after, to Dee, to the host that keeps this whole thing going, you know, all the struggle he has to do on the back end. I got a poem for you guys. It's called Going Dutch on a Blind Date Dinner with the Devil. It seems like sometimes I'd rather go Dutch on a blind date dinner with the devil and never mind it. Damn it, damage, I'm famished. Hey waitress, can we split the check, please? I ordered the toasted mustard seeds on a burning bush salad, 3 Holy Trinity cocktails, and what the fuck about Mary Magdalene's, some cucumber water and a bowl of manna as an appetizer, 2 slices of Eton garden apple pie with ice cream covered in the blood of Christ, a cup of the struggle is cold as hell, hold the ice, and if you don't mind, can I get a small to-go plate for all of my leftover faith? I hate to see all of God's good grace simply go to waste. Balling on a John the Baptist budget, I still can't afford to pay high-rise, high-price rents on an apartment God complex in the sky. I'm so tired of refinancing my faith. Tired of being held responsible for high interest rates and all the upkeep it takes to raise prayers like property value for a house of the Lord, just so the Son of Man and Child of God can attend top-tier public and private Sunday schools. Jesus told me that the book of Revelations is just a story about hell on earth when heaven was in rehab. The gates of heaven and hell are in desperate need of home repairs, and for they and them, you know, them and they ain't above gentrifying God for the sake of whose religious faith has it big enough to be called great. You can't piss on my head and tell me it's rain, for I still gotta come up with my first and last month's sins before I can get the keys to enter the gates of heaven again, get the okay to move in all of these boxes I put God in. Hell, I'm at the pawn all of my special collector edition egos, damn near liquidate all of my savings, my soul, and my personal accounts. So let me tell you about how good God is. Damn near emptied out all of my 401 I ain't okay investments and stocks I had in collection plates. Damn near lost all of the startup capital I was going to use to buy my way back into heaven. Sadly, the older I get, the more likely my miracles will be on Medicare. Sadly, even more sadly, most likely, I'm going to have to choose sadly between being able to afford prescription scriptures or food to feed my soul with, because by the time my body is ready for retirement, y'all, the cost of living Christ-like on a fixed income will make it hard for prayers to pay for sins or keep the lights on at the end of our tunnels. Oh, thank you, guys.
Oh, my Lord. CP, you got to come up with first and last sins. Man, brother, dude. The lines in this piece,
Appreciate
the lines, the truth behind it. I love it. Well done. Well done. The passion, the delivery of it. Thank you so much for being here. I hope you come back. I'd love to hear more of your stuff. Love to hear more of your stuff. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
I have to reach out. I did buzz you. I'll buzz you this week about connecting, and we'll sit down and chop it up, because I'd love to hear more about how this works. So that was brilliant, brother. That was brilliant. Thank you. Thank you for honoring us. Got to move on, though, from brilliance to brilliance. Up next, it's his second time here, or third time here, but second time reciting, so he's no newbie anymore, but he dazzled us the first time, so I'm glad he's back. All right, Neil, the mic is yours, brother.
Thank you. I hope you can all hear me.
Yes, we can.
Okay.
Yes, we can.
So I think I was going to do something else, but then I heard that wonderful poem by Bianca. But before I go there, I just wanted to thank Dee for was really an excellent performance. And I read some of your work, and hopefully we can reconnect after this. But moving on, not surprisingly, it's titled Phoenix. So you inspired me to dip back into something I've written before. So Phoenix, here goes. Ashes to ashes, ashes to dust. I self-immolate and then combust. I turn my energies to my entropy, disintegrate, subatoms and debris. I stand in smoldering smithereens of what once was and may have been. Choosing to quit when I was ahead, worry not, grieve not, I am not dead. Merely a pause as I begin to recreate, blowing at dying embers in the grate, stoking the fires that have slowly died, bellows that had given up and sighed. Flames of yellow, gold, and purple flow as I seek to restore my former self and glow. I heal myself and slowly reassemble what I did once, deliberately disassemble. I know you stretched out then to lend me your hand. In your ready palm, I reignited and burnt my brand, rekindled all my fire, turning on this flaming light, flying high up in the sky, comet, burning bright. Thank you. So that was the first bit. Thank you. Thank you, Bianca. Hope you appreciated that. Sorry, the next bit is from my book titled All the Shades of Truth, and it's a short one. All the Shades of Truth. You who have seen the light of day, clear white light of the morning ray, and looked upon it as some single truth. You were younger then and in your youth. So much older now, no fear of dark. Most nights pass by without remark. You no longer view the black with dread, just another truth where lies were spread. To pursue what's true, search in between. Look to the gray where the truth was seen. Within the half-truths and the compromise, hidden in the gap where the truth tells lies. Thank you. And the next bit, I'm just going to bring it up on my screen, so bear with me. It'll be up in a second. Bit of a Norse mythology title, Yggdrasil. Here is what it will take to bring down a people. Hit them where it will hurt them most. Bring down the solitary tree, the one that holds the seed to all their wisdom and to all their life. Clear head view, line up the shot, lock in the strike, pull the trigger. The apocalyptic crash will smother all thunder. They're counting on there being no witnesses, save maybe a weakened sun and the nuclear winter that will surely follow. Thank you. And the last one is titled, A Poem is a Message in a Bottle. Carrier pigeon of the seas, flask of hope, flagon of prayer, valiant voyager, determined to deliver, may you find your way through the great oceans, past their ebb and flow, dancing in tandem to the rise and fall, the crest and surf of waves. Carafe of courage, you pitch and bob, buoyant through storm and calm. May you circumnavigate the waters, buffeted by wind and current, to reach the safety of some shore where the reader might make room in their heart and give shelter to these words that you have kept bottled up for far too long. Thank you.
Thank you, Neil. Thank you for those pieces. Your writing is just so beautiful. The way you write them, and organized, everything. Yeah. And then the imagery that comes from your words. I'm blessed. I think it's my second or third time hearing you. I enjoy it every time. More, please. Keep coming back. More, please. More, please. All right. From brilliance to brilliance. Up next, another brilliant wordsmith and photographer. If you haven't checked out her photography, jump on a page. Mona, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Ro. I too want to thank Dee and everyone really that shows up here to show up their hearts. So thank you. I'm gonna read from my collection of haiku today. So I timed it. It's less than 5 minutes. Of things so intimate, mysterious, that you can only share them with the entire world. On the open field, the hailstone and the rosebush, old friends yet again. One last look before walking away, the tender grass between gravestones. Among the pines, this gray morning does not feel so. At the crossroads again, no real choice, but listen to the sound of rain. How chickadees too come here to greet this day with a shout of joy. Swiftly, the clouds revealing the moon, hiding the moon. Wings almost touching, my path and yours entwined, this wide open sky. Blue jays chatter of boundless joy. This morning, what else could it be? Of the hazy moon, 10,000 words and more. Not so this lonely night. Stretching like a cat, this time without beginning, without end. Words, precarious standstill, the cusp of turning deepest night to light. Slow burning incense, my worries light as a cloud of jasmine blossoms. Through the woods at dusk, quivering branches, enough light for just one step. Clear sky tonight, a lone sparrow piercing through my deepest longing. Midnight thunder. At last, I free someone from my expectations. Misty morning, nowhere to hide among the new leaves. Midnight bird songs, drifting to sleep, almost. Parting day, abruptly, wind-tossed hair over my face. Sink full of dishes, counting my breath in sync with a cuckoo's song. Seaweed soup, alone at a table for 5, I listen to a passerby's discontent. Parting words, a robin picks up twigs for a new nest. Longing for somewhere no late train can take me this sleepless night. Half moon over pine trees, I walk without hurry, my lips a half smile. A sip of hot tea and a faint smile keep me warm this long winter night. First flurries tonight, melting into this whisper. I am here, my love. Thank you all.
Wow. It's like your photography, clean, precise, yet full. It's funny how a picture is capture. You capture an image and yet it can speak volumes. And that's what those pieces just did. Well done. Thank you so much. I'm so enjoying your maturation as a poet and as a photographer. So thank you for that. Thank you. Thank you for stumbling in my life. I'm enjoying it. Thank you. All right, from brilliance to brilliance, from that brilliance to the pen of the people. She comes in and out of the show, which I love. I mean, she's busy doing other things and raising that little munchkin that pops in and out of her screen. So anyway, guys, put it together for Jennifer.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you, Dee. Thank you, everyone who shared so far. This one is not from my new book. It's actually one that actually just recently got published at Rubber Top, which I think Dee would really appreciate. So here goes. America has taught me that illusions mirror reality. Naturalization is questioned based on pigmentation. America has taught me that shades determine your sense of worth rather than the value provided to a nation, where oversized grandeur skewed the vision of logic and twists to a distortion of common laws and boundaries, where my descendants decide what rights apply to me, like buffet choices of wings and thighs in strip clubs, where like a stripper, I must dance and undress for payment to live and be and exist in their space. America, you have taught me well, shown me my place where I reside in your eyes, beneath your feet while lavish in the penthouses built on the backs of broken Negroes and Latinos and Irish and Jews, a place where minorities ruled, yet by misinformation misplaced by the palace of your colonizing motherland, gave you unwelcome authority to take away the lands of the natives, magical rivers and lakes unused to you. Take and took you did while until the common shame was too great on the knees, and so they bent down to the oppressors, taken as a sign of faithful gratitude after being blessed. But in America, the only thing blessed is the skewed logic of those who claim lineage in a land taken by blood and not by the hand. Settlers of the recent past brought their small nations and tiny leaders where they learned to break spirits in order to rule when those who own naturally cannot command their property. America, you have taught me that modern times changed venues, but not the play. Lines are the same, props are the same, actors stay the same. To oppress and stress those with thick blood and thicker skins, those that have to smile and smile and smile while the dogs dance in the moonlight, a light brought upon the witches of the past, the shamans of the current, and the wizards of the future. America, you have taught me that the most I will get is small concessions, insequential gifts of half-truths and small lies, acknowledgement in a picture or a holiday, just like you celebrate the mundane. America, you have taught me that to reuse, recycle, reduce of my culture, of their ethnicity, of our minorities, of those whose company assimilation skims by while resistance, like tar and heated skin, molds into the bone. Whitewashed pardons and mockery in a feeble attempt at reparations, you try, America, to gently tell your history. But there is one good thing you have always taught me, that freedom rings even when no one is there to listen. Thank you.
That's a good piece, Jen. Love that piece. America's an interesting experiment that's still relatively young in the annals of time. She's a young thing. A promise. She is a whisper. And yet, just like every human being, she does the good, the bad, the ugly, and the beautiful. It's a very interesting experiment. I invite us sometimes to not be so hard on America, because what America has done, others have done before.
Roll, aren't you up in Canada?
Yep, I am.
Okay. You know, I'm a War of 1812 historian, and I've had a conversation. My friend said, well, why wouldn't Canadians want to be American? And then I had a Canadian historian say, why would we want to become Americans?
Well, Canadians are no different than Americans, my friend. They're really not. We're very similar. We do a lot of the same things.
You got a different flag.
Say that again, sorry?
Got a different flag and you've got a different leader.
Oh, we do. But we practice a lot of the same things. We hold similar beliefs, similar ethics, we believe. And I've been fortunate to live in both countries. So
you never had Donald Trump as your president.
Well, like I said, everyone talks about these. There's never been a perfect country, and maybe the reason why I take the stance that I do because I know a bit of history. So, but let's talk about that another time.
All right.
I've lived in Canada a long time. I grew up in America. They're very, very similar. One thing that they have in common, they have great people in their lands. That's the one thing they do have in common. So, and I'm fortunate that I've gotten to live in both countries. So anyway, Jennifer, that's a brilliant piece. Those are the kind of pieces we need to bring to the table so we can have great conversations about. So anyway, thank you for showing up. Thank you for zipping into our lives again. So, and thank you for those comments, Chris. I appreciate that.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. It's always nice. And Dee, thank you. Thank you. Oh, you guys are, well, not only Dee, but everybody's been awesome. But Dee, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, Dee set the table for us today. So, all right, from brilliance to brilliance. Up next from Long Island, our friend. Therese, you're on the mic, my friend. You are next.
Thank you. The poetry has been phenomenal.
Yeah.
And I am an American. So I have two sort of small to medium. First one is called Brenda, Anthem of an Unhoused Single Mom. You do not see me treading water as I hide my face. I'm a secret lifetime warrior in this forbidding place. I'm mending all the broken dreams. Can I keep up this pace? My body still remembers all the men who marked me with disgrace. My mother's lovers used her body and used mine too for temporary pleasure, which soon evaporates in time and never was a measure of love or passion. No, they missed the everlasting treasure of love obtained and love exchanged and hope renewed together. They used our fragile bodies then as if we were their leisure. Now unseen, I dwell with other urban guerrillas, forced to compromise and be wise within your oppressive structures. We speak our lives within your lies, demystifying our daily struggles caused by you and by your social ruptures. I've learned I can't rely on you to value who I am, and for my children's sake, reject the trauma when I can. Though victimized, I stand erect and will not answer to another and make the same mistakes forced upon my mother. My children will have futures. Yes, another pathways in our sight. They will escape this long, harsh night. That's one. And this is my second one. Apology for my imperfections, confessions of a single mother. Some of you have heard this. If I could, I would cover you with love and heal your wounds so that we might share again somehow. Do you want me to now? It is the choir invisible who prays for us in song. Yet for just how long can I go on believing in this grace that overcomes the feelings of disgrace and shame? No one is to blame. Am I wrong? Is it only the death of me that finally will set you free from this place to see my face beyond this space into eternity? Will you abandon me? It is not within my power, and I pray somehow my prayer will reach this breach. I will not doubt, and yes, I will go there, and I need not know what it's about. Although I do not know, I can be kind, leaving all behind, to begin anew over and over and over with you. Do you doubt that this is true? Forgive yourself, and then my turn may come. These broken pieces will mend, and you will see how I was overcome, the me that I am and my capacity. I did my best and did not save the rest, although I could no longer see how to summon energy. I relied on God alone, for all you had was me. Grace was the key that engendered loyalty, and loyalty can set us free to grow into our own self-embracing humanity. That is my prayer, and Saint Therese, who scatters roses everywhere, is with you. I am content knowing the love of the divine is there at every turn, and then when you feel alone and feel you need your mother, you will discover love again. Thank you.
Brilliant words, my friend. Brilliant words. Can you tell us while you have the floor about the upcoming event that you're doing?
Oh yeah, I'm one of the administrators. I started a Facebook page that looks at Pierre Teilhard de Chardin, who is a paleontologist, Jesuit priest, mystic, loved by Huxley, loved by all the scientists. He actually predicted the internet. I mean, he's just a brilliant guy. And he's written many, many things. And so this particular Facebook page is devoted to his concepts and his writings. And so now we're having our first, I'm one of the administrators, there's like 1,100 people that belong to the site. And we're having a Facebook, our first premiere reading. Only 20 people will be on the open mic. And one of the features has written incredible poetry on very, when I say mystical, it's not that it's not comprehensible, but it's very powerful. And it's very much about the ways that Teilhard thought. And he's written about everything. He's written about suffering. He's written about living. He's written about why there's suffering and does it have any meaning and can it be beneficial? And never suggesting that suffering is a good thing. He always says it's not, but it's kind of the condition we live in. But he's a man full of hope, and his whole theology was really about love. So anyway, July 29th, for people who belong to the page, you have to join the page, and who write about Teilhard specifically, any kind of poetry after reading the prompts he has, the first 20 people will be able to recite. So it's our first venture. And And we really owe it to all the things that Raul's doing, that David Lassar is doing, and Finn, these incredible opportunities for people, which is what I loved about today, is that people are so courageous and they're so transparent. I mean, this is the thing we suffer with so much in our interpersonal relations, right? That people are not honest. And even Jennifer speaking about how the truth is concealed and twisted, and you'd like to have a straight conversation with people, And I think that these Zooms allow us to do that and to give voice to what we're thinking. And that helps us to become conscious. So anyway, I owe a lot to I used to, when I first started to come to the Zooms, I used to read my poetry. I didn't know you had to recite your poetry. That's very different, right? Yeah. So I learned so many things, and I love the diversity and the different ways of writing. And I love Dee. And I love the way he challenges the falsity of religion. And I mean, many of the poets today have expressed that what religious people say they believe in, and in actuality, how it plays out. I mean, we always have to be challenging that. So anyway, that's a long-winded answer, but that's the answer.
Well, if you want to put the link of the group in the chat, do so. Maybe you'll attract a few new members.
Oh, great.
I know I joined, and
yeah, I'm very happy, Ro, that you're going to be reciting.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to reciting, because since I've spoken with you, I've been doing some research on him, and just we're very like-minded in how we think. So
oh yeah, love is the essence, right?
It is. Love is the essence. So anyway, thank you for that. Thank you for sharing and telling us that. And a reminder to all you poets as well, all those that are reciting today, but those that aren't going to recite, if you want to put your information, please do so in the chat, how you can be reached. That's the beauty of this. It's not about saying who's right, who's wrong. It's about, let's appreciate each other, appreciate each other's voice, the way we think, our worldview. And it's just like Chris, you and Christopher jumped in. I want to understand more so we can go offline and talk more, but it's about understanding. It's not about ridiculing and going, you're right or you're wrong. Having the ability for someone like Keith, who's never been here before, to come and share a powerful piece about his personal experience, and feeling safe to be vulnerable to do that. So, we're in this together. So anyway, let's continue on. I guess that was our little, kind of a PSA moment, but I think it was worthwhile saying, and Jennifer, your poem sparked that. So yeah, I think that's the first time I've heard you got political, but do more. You do more. It was good. All right. Well, we know this gentleman is going to, he's not going to today, but he's known to speak of how he sees the world politically, but also how he sees the world from a human standpoint. He's my friend. Richard, the floor is yours, my brother.
Thank you so much, Brother Raul. An honor to be here among this fine group you've assembled. And Mr. Allen, extraordinary as always, my brother. Just fantastic work. I'm going to be brief. I've got two for you. I'm going to go in a lighter vein today. It's called "The Mexican President is Seeing Elves." This is a true story. Don't call the doctors to report the news. Just post it to TikTok for 100,000 views. The Mexican president is seeing elves. And though this might seem like news to some, it's better than a classroom of kids held by guns, or a missile blister like 100 suns, or a sudden rainfall 'neath Saharan suns. The Mexican president is seeing elves. Don't hire a shrink to weigh his brain, or speculate on the times that the lad's insane. Might as well test the color of purple rain. The Mexican president is seeing elves. Don't call out the army or contract a hit. As a sign of the millennium, this may be it. Just a harbinger of tea time, so don't have a fit. The Mexican president is seeing elves. No carpe diem, don't seize the day. Just let the little fella scamper away. If this is it and the model fits, the Mexican president is seeing elves. Far better, some say, than an unexploded shell, or even some poster boy from the edge of hell, or a rainbow with a knot and a bow just so. But from what I hear, an elux can be fun. But if you don't think so, then maybe you better run. And then this other piece, again in a lighthearted vein. My brain hurts today, my brothers and sisters, so I'm taking it easy on all of us. This is called "The Capital of Fa." Deep in the forests of La, near the ancient river of Dadi, where the treasures of Da known to dwell, and the silent mountain monks ring their primeval bell, I led my horse down the perilous course, where the rocks precarious fell with great force, where the crumbling trail was never measured by those out hunting the sacred treasure, and all the unlucky who too soon fall to the valley below, so trembled every pilgrim who chose the awful dangerous course to go, never minding where the hiding trail crumbled, hardly catching his breath when his courser stumbled. The sight of the spinning valley below alone nearly scared some right to death, don't you know? The castle, barely visible through the clouds that flowed, scudding and tearing through the sharp crags of ice, as the slippery course was delicately trimmed with frosting so nice. The wind ferocious would tug and chase, blasting these valiant pilgrims on the rock's steep face. More than once his brave horse blanched and shied, as a nearby rumbling of another avalanche at their side. And he approached the valley floor where a volley of arrows did restore his attention to the final worn rocky ledge and the dangerous tribal people who had sworn their pledge to protect the fortifications of the capital of Fa. They'd sworn to their mothers on the sacred river Ka. They'd guarded with their lives the final approach to Fa from any wandering wayfarers, no matter who they are. The Grand Vizier of the great castle Fa had cast his spell on the vineyard of Kani, and even though he should know their warehouse was empty, he knew that any goblet from the great capital Fa would magically fill with a sparkling vintage unmarred. And as the young knight-errant approached the castle gate, where the imperial sacred band was well armed and lay in wait, the surrounding castle Fa was the equestrian force, well known like Caesar's equestrae, so well appointed on horse. Those guarding the eastern gates of the sun was the force always known to be number one. These, like Alexander's, were known as companions, and it was known that they were as brave as granite stanchions. But in the west, so lauded and praised, were those who would risk all right to their graves. Known like Gordus's ancient warriors, the sacred band, was this band of soldiers, who, although of ancient vicious lineage, among them held no murderous visage. But our hero had a better weapon than these, who might bellow and deafen. He leapt from his saddle just before the gate. He raised up one hand and bade the soldiers all wait. They leaned in to hear what he had to say, and he broke out his best joke now, and they laughed their heads off. Right into the palace he strode, bold as brass. He had them all laughing till they fell on their ass. And in the throne room our hero arrived, and he explained boogie woogie and all that hep jive. Right there on the spot they made the lad king, and they kissed his behind and gave him some kind of ring, and he waved them away with a generous gesture like a flagon with the dragon. That was not quite his kind of pestle.
Well, if your brain hurts today, my gosh, then we're in trouble. You're just hilarious. But I love the fact how you use humor to attack things that we need to really look at and look at it in a hopefully a different way. So are you
Thank
okay?
you, brother.
I can hear it in your voice. Are you all right? Are you just under the weather or?
No, I'm coming off a case of COVID, I think.
Okay. Yeah, I could hear it in your voice. So anyway.
My brain hurts.
Well, if that's what your brain produces when it hurts, then maybe be hurt a little bit more, because that was brilliant.
Ouch.
But I don't want you in pain. I don't want.
Thank you all. Thank
Anyway,
you all.
brother. Thank you for being here, and thank you for being here when you're not feeling well. So I appreciate that. All right, from brilliance to brilliance. Up next, this young man, Leonard. You have the mic, my friend.
Okay. Thank you all for your visions and the words you've given to them. Been an interesting morning. My links are up on the chat, and I've got 3 ekphrastic poems for you. A photograph from where she lives now, after the photograph Gray Street by Ashley Earhart. She recalls the dances, red dresses and greens, brightest blues, yellows, the happy walk back up the aisle, shorter by miles than down. His yin-yang tuxedo and accent to her white bridal satins and lace. And then he took the bright colors, leaving her without them, without him. And that was hard, the black and white. And then those faded and gathered dust, leaving her out of focus, petrifying her in her grayscale mirror, her grayscale life. This is where the difficult stops, where the dangerous begins the long march to a destination that haunts the wait before arrival. That blade's edge between the endless, am I through yet? And I'm going home. A Place in the Choir, after an undated watercolor, Evening Moonlight by Rory Caves, takes an epigraph from Bill Staines. Some sing low, some sing higher. Some sing out loud on the telephone wire, and some just clap their hands or pause or anything they got now. Waterfowl mimicking eighth notes wake the moon-white surface of the otherwise still lake, searching for a gig with a grateful audience. Some nights they're a swan sextet. Others gathered duets of Cayuga, a group of Brent, all of the above, with barn owls, nighthawks, even a lone coyote as opening acts or alternating backups, improv solos with always, always surprising harmony. And after a German army photograph from Poland in 1941 or 42, 100 years will pass, two at the outside, and this village will be forgotten, replaced by a factory, perhaps a highway, a forest rooted in buried foundations and memories none find important. But today they've laid you side by side on the cobbles, roughly but orderly, hands tied behind your backs, heads in the shallow gutter to catch your blood and brains as they negate your memories, beginning the erasure even as I walk the line of your bare souls, the last rite I will perform for you. I who have never preached, but always sought to answer questions and ask my own. So regardless of our faith and creed, I don't know with certainty if there's an afterlife or not, an eventual rebirth. I only quickly dream of judgment as I forgive them for binding my wrists, pushing me to my knees, then prone, then. Thank you.
There's such a depth to your work, my friend.
Thank you, sir.
I could, it's not just the listening, I could almost feel every one of your life experiences in those words, in the way you write. So, yeah, you're a treasure, Leonard. You're a treasure.
Thank you.
I stumbled across you at David's show, so I'll be reaching out to you very soon. Anyway.
Yeah, in fact, I'm featuring at David's tomorrow.
Tomorrow, yeah. No, Tuesday.
Yeah, today's Sunday, isn't
Today's
it?
Sunday, yeah.
I'm old, I'm retired.
Hey, I'm right behind you because I
know what month it is.
Anyway,
yeah, I'm
right off the
David
bat, so I'm just as old. So anyway, but thank you. No, looking forward to that. All right, from brilliance to brilliance, from another wise soul to another wise soul. Henry L. The floor is yours, my brother.
Hello, everyone. Happy to be back after a spell. A lot of stuff happening, health, art stuff, just exhaustion. Dee, I wouldn't have missed this for anything. I hadn't heard you for a while, and I said I had to be here. And then I'm hearing all these new powerful poets, and I'm just going, wow. And I think Dee set the bar, and that happens so much. But then, of course, they didn't know, he didn't know what they were going to present. They're just powerful people bringing forth, being vulnerable. And it's been a wonderful day. To come back after so long and hear all this was very energizing. I'm an artist, and yesterday I was at a reception, and I sent a artist statement about what the show is, a group show. 43 artists at Middle Tennessee State University. And I thought I wrote a poem. I was inspired by the pieces and so forth that I submitted, and I thought they would display it in my art. But there were 43 artists, not enough space. So I'm going to share with you that poem today. I love the theme. Here we go. Here we are now. Here we are now, standing here to hear an echoed message. Someone's voice shouted from a mountain cliff, but please, 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 not another "I've been to the mountaintop" speech, imitated without the right marching papers to truly lead us to freedom and not know the blood sacrifices paid. Because we've been through so much. We need a message sent from someone who knows our struggle, not a person who's lost, excited, or just lonely. A message flowing like music in the air, John Coltrane's blues to lift us, Miles Davis jazz to move us, Mahalia Jackson's gospel to calm us, the Fifth Jubilee Singers' spirituals to guide us, Aretha Franklin's R&B to reach us, Jimi Hendrix rock to excite us, and Tupac's rap to lead us. Here we are now, listening to music their way, music pulling deeply, clinging to hold on, reverberating tingles on the skin of our strong roots like interweave clusters of tree roots below ground, to strongly anchor that 400-year-old tree through seasons of cold, storms, but only a stray limb hangs strange fruit. Hateful harvests of blood moons found a way to grow them. The dancing effigies are shadows of future kings and queens, bringing rot and stench for our noses. Swaying silent wind chimes of hanging fruit, wanting justice, Billie Holiday sings with quivering lips about those trees. Weak and bitter poltergeists stand nearby, painful memories drip red dew to the roots below. Trees don't feed on blood for salvation, only angry gods. New family branches are silent about the generational calling. Here we are now, searching for our own deliverance, to feel right, even when wronged still, to hear our narrated stories and memories, a voice searching for ears to listen. We need to be heard from our silence, especially when grief mutes our words, but must be expressed regardless how painful. Sounds of spoken words transformed into music, because so much is in us to be heard, echoed, flowing along the streamlined back of a flying dove, battling strong currents to bring a message of hope, mighty wings flapping to soar high, looking for a sacred place to feed, rest, and feel safe to make another day. In so many ways, we need the same, just to feel safe. Here we are now, just like those searching feathered creatures, a place, the right place, where we'll feel safe and be safe. Not worrying if our children will disappear, not wondering if we'll be pulled over, not praying if we'll drive to the wrong neighborhood as we struggle through these old storms of self-hatred, brutality, injustice, fears, caught in a storm where no one can see the neck bruises, branded with symbols of hate to decipher, like a lost language of hushed truths. From ancient lips, the black hole of lost eyes, wrinkled skin etched in wisdom roads, maps to show us direction. We stop looking and listening and feeling. We must not be acting human enough, but civil, right? So when we're beaten to death, we just stand stunned, weeping. The body cameras malfunction or footage erase. A forensic report concludes killed by natural causes because Black folks being picked and murdered seems natural as rain and air. To wash away our camouflaged tears in a thunderstorm of thick grief held back for hundreds of years, whispered in our ears for comfort in a better place. you're in a better place. Rain soaks us into it's hard to move, no marching today. Heavy clothing, but the weight inside our hearts restrains us more. We sing, we shall overcome so weakly as a familiar song. We deserve to rest when thunder cracks open the skies. We deserve to rest anytime, sounding like gunshots, evoking fear from the hunts of bloodlit nights. We'd curl like frightened children in beds with leaf blankets, use them as wings to fly away just to feel safe somewhere, to go somewhere, through the scores of music, not the scores of nightmares. Morning lifted our bodies gracefully like Alvin Ailey dancers, slowly poured molasses of lingered night. Here we are now, waiting to hear an echoed message of love. Thank you.
Every time there's a history lesson in your poetry, right? If you want to learn about Black history, American history, listen to Henry's pieces. Well done, brother. You didn't get to do that piece, you said? That's unfortunate. It's a powerful piece. Powerful piece. You're muted. You're muted.
No, they didn't hone. And what I did on my ID cards, I put excerpts. I have three paintings in the exhibit, and I took excerpts from that poem related to the 3 paintings.
Mm-hmm.
And they just had these small ID cards, and I understood because 43 artists and there's 3 galleries and limited space, and they were pulling it together. And it just had your name, the name of the piece. Yeah, and the media, and that was it. Yeah. So I was like, oh man, the poem's not even here either. So I said, well, maybe I'll be able to recite it. And they didn't have that type of reception. It was just eat food and people talking to the artist, which was wonderful, but I said, I got to recite this poem. I haven't even recited it after writing it. So this is the first time, and I feel honored to share it with you guys.
We're honored that you got to do it here. Thank you for that. Like I said, I always love listening to your stuff, hearing the history and hearing things from a different perspective. Are we being human enough? That's a very good question. That's a very good question. I am not fearful of the past. I'm not fearful of America's nasty past. I know America has done a lot of good things, just like all countries. What I'm fearful of is, are we going to learn from the past? Because that's a really good question. Are we being human enough? Not just being human. So well done. Glad you got to read it here today. All right, from brilliance to brilliance. We're getting to the end of the show, guys. I appreciate your staying power with this. But then again, like Henry said, look at the level of poetry set by Dee and all those that have come since. So up next, go across the pond to my good friend, Leah. Good to see you. Good to have you back.
Oh, it's good to be back. Like so many others, like the last couple of months have been very unpleasant. So I kind of dipped out. I didn't have the capacity to do both work and poetry, but now that it's summer break, I can concentrate on my poetry a little bit more. So in honor of me being free from teaching, I thought I would read a couple of my teacher poems. The first one is from my first book, which I wrote on the board during National Poetry Day. And as I wrote it in front of the students, they got quieter and quieter. So yeah, Leah speaks funny, definitely. But this one is called Voiceless. Imagine, what would you do? What would you think if your voice was in fact voiceless? If when you spoke, you felt speechless? If you poured your heart and mind and soul into every word like tears, only to have them dashed away, like all you had spoken was worthless? What if you fought every day for just a moment, just one, where you had a voice that was heard, that mattered, that you didn't feel like you were shouting into something as empty as you felt when others' ears heard but didn't listen? Voiceless once again. So that was a piece I wrote to a class that was completely ignoring me, and they got quieter and quieter, and it held true for a couple of days, but then they forgot and we're teenagers again, but that's fine. I'll take a few days. The next poem is from my third book, Coffee and Paper Cuts, and there is a long story behind it that I cannot tell. So it's called Don't Wanna. And it's the whole teaching experience from the teacher's point of view instead of the student's. Don't wanna. I cannot teach my class today, poor long-suffering teachers say. I have pain as well as a strain, a fluke, a flux, so tell me plain, do I look sick? Do I look well? My vision's going, I can tell. My planner's gone, forever lost. Maybe it's with the garbage tossed. Oh, you found it. Now let me see. Ugh, no. This just can't be. This is from last term's work. It's gone. I knew that was too easy one. I think I might be getting plagues, the kind that knocks you out for days. I'll cough and choke. It's just no good. If I come in, I know I could disease the school. I'll really try to get in tomorrow. Might cry. That wouldn't be helpful to show the joy of words, to watch it grow. More like weeds. They're everywhere. Shouting, kicking, tantrums that flare. I could not, should not dare come in. My doctor says I'm way too thin. I ate too much. It's poison sure. I cannot possibly endure a class of teens. What did you say? You say today is Saturday? Hey, wait up. Drinks? I'm on my way. Thank you.
She's not old. She's just a teacher. 2 brilliant pieces. There's so many honorable professions, but to teach, there's something about being a teacher, although it's not what it used to be. The way we think.
Yeah, no, I'm in an SEN school now, so I don't have more than, like, most of my classes are 1-to-1 or 2-to-1. I don't have a class bigger than 3 at the moment, but yeah, mainstream was a circle that Dante forgot to include.
Anyway, I applaud teachers. We need more and more teachers. And we need to, as a people, remember the importance of teachers. We're all teachers, but to go to school every day, Dee just said I couldn't be a teacher. I didn't think I could be, but I enjoyed the 3 years that I taught. So I applaud you for every day going into battle with those young ones. So, because that's what it is most days. Anyway,
I mean, I wouldn't do anything else. I love it.
It's a labor of love. It's
crazy making.
Yeah. Well, that too. Crazy making. Anyway, good to have you back. I'm glad you're back into some normality, I guess, if that's what you want to call it.
Oh, thank you for having the space. I mean, I do really always find 4 new poets to follow every time I come to one of these things. So
your work as well stands on its own. You're brilliant. So I enjoy your work and our conversations. So all right, from brilliance to brilliance, the host with the most, the leader of the new Weekend Cafe open mics on Monday nights. If you have not signed up, I invite you to please sign up and go and take in that amazing family. Keith, that'll be a great place for you to go in and feel loved and embraced as a first-time poet. Love Infinity is gone. I don't know if you've ever gone, Jen. I'd love to see you there sometimes, even Henry, but this man does an amazing job of setting the tone and making people feel that they belong, because they do belong, and he keeps reiterating that, not just with his words, but with his actions, and people follow suit. He's just a brilliant brother that I've had the pleasure of getting to know, and I enjoy our conversations. Elemental the poet, brother, the floor is yours.
So appreciative. Thank you, Brother Rawl. It's always great to share space with you. To every poet who came before me and the incredible lantern carrier scheduled after, I truly appreciate all of your energy, truly. As Rawl mentioned, I am the host of the Monday Night Online Open Mic presented by the legendary New Eurekan Poets Cafe. Fall through. Actually, tonight is Sign Up Sunday. Sign up begins tonight, 8 p.m. to get on the guaranteed list tomorrow night. Come through and rock with us. Shout out to the feature, the one and only Dee Allen. Always appreciate that, cat, really. So many different ideas of what I wanted to share with you today. But in the spirit of the feature, bringing only new shit, it is only right that I bring new shit. So this is brand new, man. Really brand new shit. This is Backyard Hallelujah. Just past witching hours when creatures kill switch from salutations to gut buckets of blood slung on open caskets for zombies dying in living color-coded compartments where stories become glory holes packed with more reasons than EWF members in September when love still loved lovers and lived long loving lives on makeshift stages tucked in beautifully broken stories called blues. We called it the juke joint. Dusty muse for horribly beautiful truth on this side of Black Snake Moan turns stars to psalms calm as comet calls. E.T. found home this repeat code switch matrix glitch or amplifier feedback make acid of brains addicted to arcane games that slap the grace out of days with bass lines and finger slides. Hallelujah. Leave only copper taste of shameless, nameless, cheap liquor or homemade hooch. Hallelujah. Speaking slaughter scriptures on holy names that bend frequencies into splatter on pages written on rib cages with killer cadence. They say you shouldn't be so visceral, so literal. Critical thinking is not worth investing in blue-collar scholars hollering equality and decaying streets of broken families, looking for keys, asking for mobility, and barely make it through secondary learning, guitar strings screaming. Funny how yearning for more make burning desire of 1 foot in front of 6 street lights turn cameras keep you grooving at speed of light, making art of disjointed heart spark inspiration, basking in sight of horizons blinding divine timing, make guitar strings scream, felt drummer drop basement out of bottom feeding beliefs of backdoor thinking, disconnecting from feeling, dreaming, feeling anything other than reference make you bottom bitch. Pimping ain't free. These chords make score that evens playing fields. I could have scored. Core of allure was honesty, honestly, chronicling, honoring veracity that lavishly keep asses on dance floor. Hallelujah. With that elegy energy, keep treasury locked behind memory coded despicable levels, coming back to backyard wishing wells swell with deep-seated confirmations that sing their lungs out and dance. Grind. Drank, smoke, and sang their pain into dirty, dark, taboo syntax with rat, trap, rap, scat from tongues of overtaxed cats backing in work song days, swinging masters hammer, holding on to Sunday dollars. Oh, Alberta. In beautiful backwoods, back to future escapes of escape clauses to thunderous applause that feeds their soul. Bless the souls, fearless enough to face new glorious days. Thanks to the gut buckets of blood called blues. Hallelujah. Peace, y'all.
Oh, my Lord, brother. That's brand spanking new. Another history lesson in the blues into our culture. Wow. I don't know what to say. And then the delivery. But then again, I'm not surprised. That's why they call you elemental poet. All right? Well done. Well done. Well done. I want to hear that again. I want a private audience. I'm going to buzz you this week. I want a private audience. Seriously, guys, you should reach out and have a chat with this brother. He's a very well-rounded young man. I say young because I'm a little bit older than he is, but he's a well-rounded round man. And your words, your rhyming, the fusion of your words, and then the meaning that you fuse in these words, the depth, like Henry, you're teaching us history as you're entertaining us. I could go on and on. I just love you. Thank you for honoring us. I know you're a busy man, so I appreciate whenever you can come by the Inspired Poetry Corner. All right, from brilliance to the guru. And then there was one I purposely saved this man for last, so I don't always just want to bring him up. I want to give him thanks for having the intestinal fortitude to stick it out. I'm sure I'm not the only one that does it, but just like Alexandra is a great way to start into the performance list after the future, he's just a brilliant way to end our show. He's the one and only Lantern Carrier.
Thank you, my brother. I'll get straight into it. Excuse me. Love's letter to my soul. Love's like a beautiful flower, spontaneous, so natural in her flow and magnificence. She's a shimmering stream, unhurried, a surrendered lover. She will not wither like autumnal leaves, but continues to give birth to numerous entities. Her sweetest voice, ever so affectionate, offered an eloquent letter to my soul. Hers was the light of enduring sunsets, heralding the glory of twilight to sparkle anew like the glimmering sunrise of the moon. Enveloped in her gaze, the sun, moon, and twinkling stars, to me, were of minor significance. I wept tears of joy as one lost for 1,000 years, 10,000, and danced like snowflakes, drifting merrily with the breeze. My memories of sad thoughts and wasted emotions dissolved in wings of light. To tell a sacred truth, I'm not afraid anymore. We've paired as one, and even the heavens and Mother Gaia are obedient to your commands. Who will match the bewitchment of thy smile? Now I know why Da Vinci's Mona is so immaculate and timeless. Towering and matchless is your silhouette, and so my longing cup palms together like a daffodil in prayer, awaiting the rays of thy birthless kiss. Ah, how can I describe the wine that mutes my tongue, inebriating my soul with nectar? Resplendent are thy rays, bathing my core with the arrow of love. Erroneous are those who try to erase your tenderness, the magical words you wrote, the nameless tapestry without equal under heaven. Your calligraphy is imbued with the ink of immortals, the intimacy of its delicate strokes, 1,000 times more exquisite than rainbows. Rancor, to me, was the dark forest of loneliness until you came, that is, licking the venom of my festering wounds, replacing them with your effulgent carousels. Sweet Shyama, the fire of your unspoken manuscripts has rekindled all my hopes. I now cast asunder all remnants of my broken dreams. I reach for your all-illumining light, the one that heals conjuring twins, such as my cobwebs and shadows. Soaked in the fragrance of thy supernal wine, I wept God's rain, whispered arias to the rising sun. I gaze with bewilderment, your sweet kiss erasing my heart's shadows. Past regrets fading into oblivion, I dined in the ecstasy of your ceaseless love. Poem 2. All in the hands of the Most High. I am a spark of light in this dance of life called love. I come here, a soul enrobed in a mortal vessel on its way to immortality. I grow through adversity, a candle of the divine, and burn on the anvil of the master alchemist. My parents, too, are rays of light. They have their own challenges. I'm so glad I never blamed them for my current state. What do I know of their own pain? Each soul has its own struggles, and its thoughts turn around itself. The saint may remain a saint, and the thief a thief. And so how I see life is colored by my own level of awareness, the rung on which I find myself on this long ladder of evolution. I pray for those who spitefully mistreat me, no matter how many, for each soul runs into another for whatever will help to serve or receive in this game of learning lessons for self-development. Love says to me, "You're doing well, my sweet angel, for you came from delight, and very few know the ways of paradise. Things that enhance progress may sometimes be laden with thorns, as only thus can the fire of empathy and compassion come through in this gross plane of worldliness. Rage, anger, bitterness, and resentment come and go. Just try to be the witness, to accept your traumas, yet not yield to them, for they come for a reason, and even if not known to you, the universe unfolds as necessary. Gratitude begins a seed, turns into buds, and eventually blossoms with love. Yet you will sow one day, for even seasons take breaks until they shine again in all their pristine glory. Cages on cage with evolution and change, and eventually all birds fly, soaring into the firmament of infinity. No matter how the universe slows you down, it will be for a greater purpose, and you will rise up undefeated, learning to accept life's lessons, identifying with the pace set out for you in this field of righteousness and excellence supreme. Eventually, you will conquer. Life's goal or purpose is self-knowledge, and for that pure state of happiness, I desire that you burn on the anvil of my alchemy to turn you into a beautiful vase. I control the pages of the book, how they turn in your hands to the express will of my master weaving. Lantern Carrier, thank you.
Brilliant pieces, brother, brilliant. Once again, for your heartfelt, soul-wrenching invitation for us to dive into ourselves. I think it's one of the biggest problems on this planet. We might solve a lot of these issues we have if we were willing to dive in and heal ourselves, deal with our trauma. You're always a reminder of the divine that I see in all eyes, Lantern. And it's a good reminder to have every time we do that. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. All right, that is the end of our show. It's a long one, but it's a show that I invite us to embrace. There was a time we would sit around for hours and share poetry and debate and talk when we weren't so distracted by television and the internet and smartphones. When it seemed...
Where are your singers?
Sorry?
Where are your singers?
They're not here today. They are recovering from a night of celebrating and inspiring the people. So you get to have me to send us home, and I'm not singing. I'm like, Dee, you don't want to hear me sing.
Come, come, my sweet poet, come. Jape jane pole pole tabasuyanam. Come, come, my sweet poets, come. Japa jane pole pole tabashudanam.
You're brilliant. Thank you, Lantern. See the smile on my face? Thank you for that. But we need more of that. We need more of that. We need more of those messages to remind us. This is why I love Richard's poetry so much. They're hard-hitting, but they're humor. It makes us smile as we're being educated about something. And to Henry's point, are we human enough? Are we human enough? We gather on these events, in these little squares. And it's not just to share our poetry. It's the connection that we feel. It's the connection of hearts that we may not physically feel, but we could feel it in the words. We felt it this morning when Keith had the courage to share his vulnerability of what his experience was like, or what it is like. We felt it in Love Infinity, in her powerful pieces. We felt it in Neil's words and in Mona's words. We felt them all. It is not just us coming to take space in these squares. It's about the connection that we have, not just to each other, it's the connection we have to poetry. It's a connection we have to inspiring the world to be better by saying, hey, I'm looking at me, but I'm looking at me from the inside out. So I thank you for coming and sharing. I thank you for being a part of this. And Dee Allen, you are a definite force of nature. I'm honored to call you a friend. I'm honored to be in the class of poet as you are. You set the tone for today. You brought all these people together. I just hold space. They showed up because they wanted to be here because of you today. So I applaud you. And I applaud those that came before, the poets, not just the ancestors, but the ones that are here, because the ancestors we'll be talking about one day are the same ones that we're looking at in the squares that we see before us. Alexandra, Marianne, Finn, Keith, Love Infinity, Trajan, excuse me, Bianca, Charles, Neil, Mona, Jennifer, Therese, Richard, Leonard, Henry, Leah, Elemental, Lanto, and all the other poets that will take to the mic this coming week, and all those who have taken to the mic before, and all those who have taken on a stage and stood on a stage, and all those who have taken the courage to pick up a pen and put it down and then turn it into a book and to share it with the world, and to all those who have since turned to dust, but their words live on. That's the connection. Are we human enough? Yeah, we are. I believe with all the craziness that's going on every day, we get better at it. Martin Luther said, I want to be judged by the content of my character. I think we do that every day and we get better at it every day. It may not feel that way some days, but we do. How do I know? Look around you. Look what we've attracted. Are we human enough? Yeah, we are. Can we do better? Definitely. And that's the job, is to do better. There's no perfect. The perfect lies within us. And the perfect lies when you take the pen and you put it to the paper and you allow your brilliance to shine. Then you bring it to a place like this and you speak it. And you embrace the new poets like Trinity, like Love Infinity, like Keith, who we don't know. We know Finn. Finn is new to this. But the new ones, we embrace them. We embrace Neil because their words were powerful. So I thank you. And for those that just came to support, I thank you for putting your bum in our seats and supporting this. So I discharge you to the week. Leonard is being featured this Tuesday on David's show. Spoken Word Online, support that. Monday night, the Eureka Cafe. Sign up starts tonight at 8:00. You better have your browser open and ready to go, because as soon as it's open, it's done. So if you want on, jump on.
Yeah, that's why I'm never there, because it's 4 a.m. here.
It's 4 a.m. for you, yeah. Although
So
you
do you
have been
want to
there a
sign
few
up
times.
for me?
This is the trooper she is. She's been there a few times. It's 4:00 in the morning.
Oh my God.
I don't
not that dedicated, huh,
exactly.
Alexandria.
I don't expect you to
No,
be
but
there all the time.
Elemental, you want to sign up for me? I have to get up at 4 a.m. to sign up. I'm not doing that again.
But there's room for others. And there's many shows. It's not just those.
Right.
But the point is, we connect. We connect for the simple reason that we're breathing the same air. I thank you for your support. I thank you for your bravery. I thank you for your courage. I thank you for your vulnerability. I thank you for your ability to stay within 3 hours to be here for each other.
3 hours.
3 hours. Seems like a long time, but it goes by very quickly. Sorry?
3 hours of our life gone.
and worth every minute.
All right.
Worth every minute. Anyway, I'm going to say goodbye and thank you. And I love you all. I will see you next month for our next show. Upcoming on Wednesday, I have an open mic called Home is the Heart. You're more than welcome to. I'll be posting it up on Facebook and Instagram. And just keep being magnificent human beings. Life isn't perfect, but it's still life. It's still the best game in town. I love you. Stay gentle with yourself so you can be gentle with someone else.
Thanks, everyone. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.